Hello everyone, it's me, Shirin. I'm back again with another video. Today I'm in a bit of a different setup. I'm in the car. Not my car, but I mean, I thought it'd be fitting to sit in the car today because, you know, sitting in this car and filming is me manifesting getting my own car and being actually able to drive. So, here we go. I'm going to talk to you about how I passed my theory test with one night's revision, first time. If you want to hear a bit more about that, I have quite a few tips of what to do and what not to do. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to be trying to drive as soon as the lockdown's over, or like trying to pass their theory and need to know this sort of information. Because I feel like I didn't really get that much information when I was trying to do mine. How to pass your theory test. Top tip on passing your theory test or booking your theory test: do not book your theory when you're ready to book your practical test. Because God forbid, if you do fail that theory test, you will not be able to do your practical and it will just set you back. It will set you back miles. Also, another tip: book your theory test once you have started driving. I know I said don't book it when you're ready to do your practical, but once you've done at least, I don't know, like a few lessons where you're starting to feel like you're picking up quite a few things, you're picking up what's around you, you're being told certain things, because throughout your lessons you'll start to pick up things like road signs, I don't know, just little things like about the car. You learn those sort of things which come up in your multiple choice question, and I feel like that helped me a lot, because even though I'd only done one night's revision, when I was driving I was picking up a lot of the answers to things without even knowing it. And your driving instructor will tell you certain things. They'll be like, oh, that'll be in your theory test. I'd done 9 hours of driving before I actually took my theory test, and I felt like it helped me a lot to pass my test without so much revision, or just to pass my test in general, because I had some sort of like background knowledge. It's not like massively difficult, it's not, but you do need to revise. For me, I bought an app called the Official DVSA Theory Kit, Test Theory Kit, and that was only £5. I'd highly recommend that app. I'll put a picture of it on the screen. Actually, I'll go on it now and I'll screen record it and I'll just show you what's on it. I went through all of the multiple choice questions. There's 700 different examples of them on there, and there's also the hazard perception. So you can see my mock test average by the end, when I was actually ready to do my test, was about 47 out of 50, which was fine. So you go through there and you start study. There's all of these different topics that you go through, and then you also have the practice at the bottom, study, mock tests, and the extras. You can also, when you go on your hazard perception, you can see that my progress was 144 points out of 170. Because I knew in my head that I'd only done a little bit of revision, that made me contemplate whether I would pass or not, even though I was confident in passing, if you know what I mean. So like, if I'd had that extra time, I would have been like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna pass. But because I'd only had that one day, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna pass, but then at the same time, will I? Because have I done enough? So just save yourself the doubt. If you do buy that app though, if you need to find the highway code, which is something that I struggled with, I think, finding it, it's on extras, and then you just go to the official highway code and there's an index and everything, and you'll find all of your road signs and everything on there. So the app is really helpful and it did the job for me. All the questions that I had on there were basically near enough on the thing. They give you 57 minutes, I think it is, for your multiple choice questions, and I took about 20 because I was confident on the answers, because I'd done it all before. Don't feel like you have to use the whole 57 minutes. But another top tip: when you do your test, it will tell you all at the start, so don't have to worry about remembering this information, but you can flag certain questions that you want to go back to at the end, and anything you're unsure of, flag that question, because at the end you can go back to it, and if you have, like me, 20 minutes left or 30 minutes or something left, you can use all that time, or at least 10 minutes or whatever of that time, to just go back through the questions and make sure you've got them all right. In my actual thing, I got 49 out of 50 on the multiple choice questions, and I was really happy with that. I was kicking myself about the question that I got wrong, because I'd actually gone back to that question, I'd flagged that question, gone back to that question, and I changed it to the wrong answer. So I mean, it can work in your favour, cannot, but at the end of the day, I would definitely recommend you going through all of your questions. Even if you feel like you've kind of gone wrong, at least you have that time at the end to kind of reevaluate what you've written. Even if you go back to other questions and you're like, not sure, and you think you've got it right, at least you can still look at them and just be like, am I sure? Because I went through all of my questions, even the ones I was confident on. I went through all of them just to check, because that's not going to do you any harm. The theory test itself costs £23, so that was another driving factor for me to pass. I mean, £23, it's not a massive amount of money, but it's money at the end of the day, and you don't want to lose out on it, because every time you fail that test, you have to go back and you have to spend that money again. 23 times 2 is already 46, so timesing that by however many times you're going to do it. The reason I didn't actually end up having one night was because I forgot that when I booked my test, to be honest, because I had to book it ages in advance. So another top tip as well, if you're trying to pass your theory or your practical, anything in 2020 or 2020, well, if you was in 2020 or 2021, book everything you need to do from early, because there is massive delays. Delays are your worst enemy at this point. I booked mine before I was even like kind of ready to do it, really, because I just wanted to get it over and done with. And that's what I'd say, like what I said before, book your theory as early as possible, because that's the only thing that you kind of have control of, is your mind. If you can revise however long, you could literally take your theory before, to be honest, you could literally take your theory before you start driving. So if you put your mind to it, just practice for your theory, because that's what's going to prohibit you from doing your practical, whether you can drive or not. I think I booked my test in October, and the earliest date for me was November, so I actually passed on like the 4th of November, and I'd booked it all the way in October. So make sure you book everything in advance. That is our top tip for 2021. And the hazard perception for me, I hated the hazard perception. I don't know why, because obviously I'm already driving, so I should be able to spot hazards, but that was not my forte. Top tip, you can press that button quite a few times. I mean, I got disqualified in a couple of them because I clicked it too many times. Oh no, my neighbour. As soon as you see a hazard coming up, click pause, click pause, click pause, click as many times as you can, kind of thing. Like, but make sure you're taking pauses in between, because if you click too many times in a row, it will just disqualify your answer. Another thing I'd say is, it's not common sense. It's not, everyone I asked said it's common sense. It is easy, don't get me wrong, it's not hard, but like, it's only easy if you revise. And I'd also say, top tip, book your test for early in the morning, so you have less time to stress. And make sure you wake up early and get to go over your questions and everything. But book it for early in the morning. Mine was at 8 o'clock. If you book it early in the morning, you don't have time to stress yourself out about it. And I think it's just better that way. Like, what I ended up with, I got 49 out of 50 in the multiple choice questions, and I got 50 out of 75 in the hazard perception. So I was well happy with that, especially because I'd only done one nice revision. To drop one mark, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you got all the tips and tricks that you need for your theory test if you're looking to book it. I know how stressful driving in 2021 is, but it will be fine. I hope you all pass. Like, let me know if you do your theory test and you pass, or if you use any of the apps that I use. But thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you've got a few tips and tricks from me. Like, subscribe and comment. Share with your friends if you feel like they would benefit from it, and I will see you in my next video.